Hello, my name is Gene King. We're going to talk about a customer complaint that we had. So the customer came in and we had an engine light that it came on. It's been on for 2 weeks. So the steps we went to follow was first thing, as always, is to go out and verify the customer's complaint. We started the car up and the light was there and it stayed on. Next thing we did was turn the vehicle off. Went and got the computer tester, hooked it up, and we determined a code of P0455, which is the large emission leak. After that, went through and checked all of the bulletins to make sure there was nothing out there that led us or had anything already for us to check or go procedures by, and there was nothing available for that. The next thing, went out and looked at the system as a whole for any kind of mechanical failures. So we looked at the tubing and the hoses to make sure there was nothing obvious that was broken or cracked or anything like that. And again, nothing was found. So going through the system as a whole, it works to vent or use the emissions coming from the fuel tank that are extra and route those to the intake so they can be burned so it's not released into the atmosphere. So it works like this. Here you have your fuel tank, and as pressure builds up and gases build up, a signal is sent over to your engine computer, your PCM, which tells your purge valve to open, and at the same time, the vent valve closes. So this action causes a vacuum to happen, and it sucks the vapors from the charcoal canister up through and into the intake. So that's the operation of the system. So what things to look at for the system is the very first step, of course, is to check the fuel cap, make sure it's tight, make sure it's not leaking, and make sure it's the correct fuel type for the car. The next thing led to was the vent valve, check the resistance. A good vent valve is 15 to 25 ohms when disconnected in red. And then for the purge valve, it's 18 to 28 ohms when you disconnect it and read it with a multimeter. If these are both read out and they are correct, the next step would be to check the voltage going to the valves to make sure that what's coming out of the PCM actually opens or closes the valves as required. Next, we'll go out to the floor and take a look at the vehicle itself. When we go out to the floor, the things to make sure we have with us are proper PPE. So I'll be wearing gloves, which I'll put on before we go out, slip-resistant shoes, steel-toed shoes, safety glasses. That'll protect us from hurting ourselves or anything like that while we're out there. The equipment we're going to use is a typical digital multimeter to take readings for the resistance. Then the other will be any type of light. So you want to make sure you can see all of the area that you're looking at and make sure you're not missing anything. So right now we'll go out to the floor and we'll see you in a minute. So this is the 2010 Chevy Aveo that has the check engine light on. The first step in the process is to check the fuel cap. So we have to get the door open to gain access to the fuel cap. And the release is inside, driver's side right here. Pull up on it. Then we'll go over to the passenger side where the actual fuel cap's located. Open up the door. And it is connected, and it was tight, so we're going to take it off. And what we're going to do is ensure it's the right cap for the vehicle. We're going to make sure there's no cracks, make sure the seals are good, and it looks pretty good. So we'll go ahead and put it back on. Close the door back up. The next step is we're going to move over and start checking the valves. So here's the vent valve. It's located underneath the back of the car behind the right rear tire. The canister is right there in front of it. That's the canister. And there's the connector for the valve. So we're going to disconnect the connector and take the readings on it and see what we come up with. So we've hooked up the leads, coming down one extender to make it a little bit easier. And we're currently reading 21.5 ohms, which means the vent valve is good. So the next step, we will go and move towards the front and do the purge valve now. And we're looking for the purge valve. So this is the purge valve located right here. And it's as simple as disconnecting this wire. And then we can go in here and read the purge valve out to see if it's a good or bad. We'll go ahead and connect the meter up now. Give me one moment. All right, hooked up the purge valve to the meter, and you can follow the leads around, coming through the clips over here to the digital multimeter. And it is currently reading an open, which is telling me the purge valve is bad. Again, it should have been reading 18 to 28 ohms, so we'll definitely have to replace this purge valve. Went out to the vehicle and we checked the fuel cap, which was good, no cracks. Everything was fine with that. It was tight when we first checked it. Then went to the vent valve, checked the ohms there. It was within the 15.5 ohms, so that was good. Moved to the purge valve up front, which should have been 18 to 28, and it was open. So definitely the purge valve is bad. So we replaced the purge valve, cleared the codes, started the vehicle back up, and we have no more codes. The light went away, and the complaint has been verified as good. So the system is working as advertised, and we've completed the task. Thank you.